So what do you think a protest is?
It's like something that is like pre-organized to really make a change and make sure the government sees what's going on and like, yeah, to like make a change.
To make a change.
And like make sure they have followers, like see other people as followers and like try and get everybody they can.
Okay,
join.
So when you say make a change, what do you mean by that?
Like if something is being treated unfairly, like they clearly want to do something about it and like have the government maybe change a rule or something.
Okay. So what do you think? What elements determine a protest?
It's definitely how many people are like in the protest, I guess, and what they do. Because like if you just sit back and tell people how like it's not fair, that's not a protest. Like it needs to be like out there. Like you need to be able to see it.
Okay, good. So you said that people just sit back and say it's not fair. So
Yeah.
that isn't a protest?
No, I
So
don't think
then what would you see as a protest instead?
I would see like people outside with signs on the streets and like making sure people around them see what's going on and see the unfairness.
Okay. So how do you determine if something is a protest or not?
I think it's definitely visually and like communication wise, because if you see a sign, it's definitely going to be way different than you hearing it from somebody. Like if you see like people on the streets like fighting and like just standing for their rights, you're definitely going to want to like agree with them and like make sure something like happens, because they're taking their own time to show that it's something is unfair.
Okay, good. And then so what examples do you think of when you think of a protest?
I definitely think of like weapons, because that's like a big thing, and like there's a lot of like school shootings this year that caused a lot of protests, and it's definitely women's rights I think about too, just like with like the whole suffrage movement.
So what about those movements make you think about protests? Like what elements of them?
I think of protests because like I remember seeing on like social media for the weapon thing, there was a lot of kids standing out there, and that kind of like it's way more powerful to like us, because it's like our own friends doing it, not just like adults that we don't know. And like for the women's suffrage, it was like, since I'm a girl, it's gonna be more powerful, and I think I should have the rights that like a guy does.
Right.
And like when you see the girls taking their own time to like stand out there and show people that what's right, it like makes it a protest.
Okay, cool. So just in one sentence, again, if you could just explain what a protest is.
It's an organized movement where people are fighting for what they want and make a change.
Okay, that was great. Awesome. Thank you. Ryan, so what is a protest?
A group of people that they think that there's an issue and they want to find a way to solve it, like making it like a social issue, I guess, like bringing it to the government's attention.
Bringing it to the government's attention. Okay, so what elements do you think determine a protest?
How many people are involved and like what they do when they protest.
Okay, so what do you mean by what they do?
Like, are they out on the streets? Like, how are they protesting it? Like, if it's like not something big, then like it's harder to get your message across.
Okay. Do you think there's different ways people can protest too?
Yeah, they can be like picketing and stuff like that, or you can just like walk the streets or like boycott and stuff like those kind of things.
Okay, good. So what do you think determines if something is a protest or not?
How many people are out doing it and like what they're fighting for, I guess.
Okay. And so do you have any examples of a protest or what do you think of when you think about a protest? What kind of examples?
Miss Clipper, can I use the restroom?
Go ahead, Alex.
Thanks.
Kind of like people just like out on the streets like fighting for what they believe in, and then like kind of like the women's suffrage thing, and then like gay marriage when that was a big thing. Like people were out in front of the White House and stuff like that.
So do you think, because you said in front of the White House, so does that have something to do with it too, kind of?
Yeah, because like if you're there, then like the government's gonna know that you're there, and it's gonna become a bigger issue, and like it'll be nationalized on TV and stuff.
Okay, good. So just again, one sentence, what would you say is a protest?
A group of people fighting for what they believe in.
Okay, great. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.